right, let's go to Cory. Cory, you are our first caller for today. Welcome to What on Earth is Happening.
Hi, Mark.
Hey,
How's it going?
not bad. Yourself?
Not bad. Man, you get me riled up. I'm pretty sure you probably get a lot of people riled up here. It's intense world that we live in, isn't it?
It is. And we have very calcified people out there that think they're right when they're not correct. And they don't want to hear it like that because their ego is in the way. And I am here to say it like that to those who may be able to hear it. But I am mostly here not to talk to the total golem who is so rigid in their belief structure, even though it's false, that they'll take the one ring and clasp it to their heart in their dying throes as they fall into the fire of Mount Doom, to give a Lord of the Rings analogy. That they want that power and control so much, and they want their belief, their hardened, calcified belief so deeply that they will take their religion into their very own doom. I'm not really necessarily talking to those people. I know many of them may die in that condition. I am talking to the people who, unlike myself, will take the job of trying to talk to the total golem and maybe show them some care, help to de-traumatize them, etc. That's not my role. That's not my role here on What on Earth is Happening, and it never has been since day one. I have always been trying to create other teachers of this work from people who are already part of the way there. And I think it's very ill understood. It's not understood by most people. You know, most people think I'm doing that other work that I am asking them to help do. I am trying to teach the potential teachers. They can go and do that soft work. That's not what I'm here to do. I'm here to present hardcore, indisputable, eternal truths of nature, whether anyone is ready to hear them or not, in the hopes to get some of the potential teachers who are ready to hear them active. That's always been my goal and always will be. So sorry for that long explanation there, but go ahead and continue.
No, it's perfect. Thank you. I mean, you're totally right. And we live in a left brain dominant society, so maybe you'll get some of the doctors and scientists on board. And that's, more along the lines of thinking where I was, because I was into the whole health thing before I found you. So, I mean, having that understanding perhaps of the holistic mentality about healing in Eastern medicine is a part of this greater picture, if you will.
So you came to this, you approached this whole field of understanding through health.
Yeah.
See, that was,
through
I think it's great when people do it like that personally. I like to hear that because I think part of it is you have to get your brain in a state where you're giving it healthy things, giving it healthy nutrition and the things that it needs to even come to a higher level of being able to reason and study things. And I didn't have that. That was one of my last things. And I saw all of the darkness, all of the control aspect, all of the dark occult things first, and I got health last. I didn't realize they were using food and water and air as a poisoning methodology. It was one of the last things that fell into the puzzle for me. If that would have come in first, as it did for you, I probably could have gotten to this work a lot faster.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess, people make a big deal out of my age. So what? I'm 19. Just because I'm this age doesn't mean anything.
Absolutely. It's meaningless. Age is meaningless. There could be wise people at 17 years of age, and there could be total fools at 95 years of age.
Exactly. And I want you to be honest with me, too, about all the things that I'm doing, because I know that perhaps you came across my work earlier. And I don't mind it if you just tell me right to my face, because that's what I'm looking for. See, I don't have necessarily right now the community who can be upfront with me and tell me what is it that's on their mind. What is it that I may be doing that could use improvement? I'm always looking for improvement. I'm a Leo, so maybe I'm a little bit more along the lines of left brain dominance sometimes, especially being in that sign.
Well, I'm a Leo, and I don't necessarily think it means that, but we're very hard on ourselves. We often demand perfection of others, and sometimes we have to take a step back from that, allow ourselves to make mistakes, allow others to make mistakes without crucifying them, and it's Leos are perfectionists almost by, our inherent qualities to some extent. I do place a little bit of, belief that there is a influence through our sun sign. I don't think it's the be all and end all or determines
Right.
anything. We can always work to change, certain aspects and personality characteristics. But I think there's a little bit of influence there, and I've seen that in other Leos as well. And that's why we can be hard on ourselves, and sometimes we can be difficult to work with around others sometimes. So are you the individual who sent me some of the links to your work earlier
Yes.
on with you sent it via email? Yeah,
Nature's the answer.
Yeah, I got a chance to look at some of that, and I think you're doing some good work out there. I think anybody doing something that pushes these moral principles forward and helps people to understand them better is doing great work out there. Any bit toward accomplishing the great work is something that wasn't there previously and adds to the effort and helps us inch forward to that goal. So I thank you for taking the initiative to put anything out there online publicly. That in itself takes work, takes some study and understanding of how the internet works, and takes some courage to put that out there, yourself, speaking to other
thanks.
people like that publicly.
I mean, I will admit, like, I'm doing kind of what you were doing. It's days on end, nights and day.
That's right.
I'm doing plenty of writings, not just working on my health book, which I think can help tie the health individuals into this field. So I have a lot of plans, like, around bringing perhaps the doctors and scientists into this, because they already have a deeper understanding of the world, and you are very good at penetrating that left brain because you're very hardcore right on the facts, to where you can give it in detail to them, because that's what they tend to look for, and right to the point. So I thank you for that, and you deserve a thank you for that. I do want to mention that, I look on comments for, like, YouTube videos all the time. I see, all these people making content, and I see the comments, right? You ever look at them? It's like people are saying, we need change, we need unity.
And what are they doing?
Well, yeah, exactly. It's like, okay, well, of course we need change. Of course we need unity. But how about you be the change?
Right, that's right. It's funny. I got it flipped around on me one time. A stranger who really didn't know that much about me. When I started having a conversation with them about some of these things, and I was saying all these dark things that are taking place, and giving a little bit out about what's happening, they actually turned to me and said, "Oh, you seem to know a lot about that, but what have you been doing about it?" They didn't even know my name. This is how much people just assume that everybody's just like them. Well, if they weren't doing anything, I obviously I'm not doing anything either, And I just smiled and walked away, just comically, like just chuckling about it. Like, imagine someone who doesn't know who I am, right? And then said something like that to me,
And I want to say another thing too, is we shouldn't be afraid to expand past our boundaries. We don't want to create an echo chamber here where it's only just these beliefs and us just talking to one another. I think we have to really seek out there, and perhaps what I'm starting up, I think, is one of our last hopes potentially, because I don't know where this world is going in just a couple of days. They have things so firmly grasped, they're so confident, this agenda of theirs, that perhaps it doesn't even matter what we do on this scale, which is what makes us so angry, which is what makes us actually want to do more. And so I find myself pushing myself crazily.
That's definitely a Leo trait for sure. But, don't burn yourself out. I've burned myself out a couple times and then had to take a break, and then other traumatic situations have occurred where I've had to step away from this work and then come back to it. Slow and steady does win this race as long as more people continue to do it. We need to add to the force, to the effort, If we're going to move a big weight, you got to add to the actual work effort, Well,
that's another thing, is your work is timeless. Like,
it'll always be up there.
On the internet.
It'll always be up there. It can be copied. It can be distributed. It can be put on, distributed network platforms like BitTorrent or Library. Okay, and it'll be up there. And it's never going to be dated. As you said, this is timeless philosophy, so it will not be dated. Cory, you reminded me about one thing. I'm going to tell a little anecdote about what the higher level people in the occult think about the police, and that will kind of tie in with this whole series. I'm going to have some artwork drawn by an artist to really depict really well what this scene looked like. But you reminded me about that. But before I let you go, I want you to be able to tell people where your work is at online. And here's what I just have to say about it. He's putting his work out there, folks. He's putting it out there publicly for people to look at. And again, if he puts out this philosophy out there, it is also timeless. And it's up there, and it does the work on its own of teaching people. The information's out there. If you talk to someone one-on-one. Yeah, fine, that's great, wonderful. But guess what? That conversation's gone forever. Once you walk away from that person, the conversation's gone. If you want to truly archive material that can work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 and a quarter days a year, you have to put it online. You have to formalize it and put it online. So this is what Cory has done with some of his aspect of the great work. Cory, go ahead and tell them where they can find your work.
Yeah, so you can go to the website, www.nita.one, that's nita.one, but my YouTube channel and Brighteon, sorry, and BitChute, they're Cory, Nature is the Answer, because that's what it stands for. And for the record, yeah, when you need downtime, perhaps just go outside in nature. Start using more of that right brain to heal yourself in this left brain world that obligates us to take more action and sometimes burn ourselves out, like you mentioned.
Right.
So I think it's really important that we do keep ourselves in check. For ourselves is what's going to change the world. We're not pointing the fingers at other people. We're going to change ourselves.
That's right.
And for the record, I'm starting a campaign today. I'll be releasing a video about how independent media, or anybody who's listening to this, or anybody who has, articles, videos, even content creators themselves, can spread this word and could get this going in circulation. If we have natural law in circulation, a lot of this stuff naturally disintegrates. This is not a process where you have to take arms to the state and God is going to come down to the earth and he's going to free all the people. Like, okay, well,
that is the solution. The solution is understanding objective morality from a deep perspective.
It is God's law.
Aligning our behavior to it. That's it. And people will say, I don't give solutions. The entire show is the solution, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. You know the self, you know the enemy, and you know the law. That's it. Mm-hmm. And you'll win all your battles. Unfortunately, most people don't know any of that stuff,
Sorry, just to finalize real quick. It's not about me. I want to make that very clear, and I make that super clear, and I've created a lot more videos since the last time I came on here. And I'm willing to talk to people after the show, too, if they want. But because it's just necessary to have this communication, so I know they open up the voice channel.
That's what it's all about, and then getting more people to actually learn the communication and publishing tools on computers. This is where we propagate this work out to the world. You got to do it online. Okay, that's how you get the bulk of your material out there. And once people learn that technology, they'll be able to do it for themselves. That's what I'm teaching with how to become the true media. I'm sure you have some, expertise and understanding in doing that in just the short time that you've been doing this. But you can help pass those skill sets along. That's what Richard in Tragedy and Hope and Autonomy is doing. That's what this is all about, folks. It's about learning it. It's about teaching it. And it's about how to help teach others to teach it. How to not only get them to understand it, but how to help them to teach it as well. See, we have to become teachers who inspire other teachers. That's really when you're doing the great work. Okay, Cory, thank you so much. I really applaud your efforts, and that is what it is all about, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so let's. Again, his website is nita.one, nita.one. That stands for Nature is the Answer. Okay. Let's go to Gaven. Gaven, you are live on What on Earth is Happening. Welcome.
Hello, Mark. Am I coming through loud and clear?
Yes, you are.
Awesome. Great. Thank you for taking my call. It's Gaven from Utah, by the way. Just real quick, I just like to give an applause to Cory. Holy cow, I was surprised to hear that he was 19 and I've gone through his work and just hearing, just seeing and hearing the amount of work he's put out.
Right. And just to speak to that briefly, folks, it's never too young to start, and it's never too old to start. Never too young to start, never too old to start. All you have to have is the drive and the initiative to do the work. That's it. So we have some people taking the True Media Seminar that are somewhat older. Fine. That's great. It's never too old to learn how to do something new. You can teach old dogs new tricks. Okay, don't buy into that old adage. Never too late to start this. Okay, so go ahead. I just wanted to say that.
And to kind of echo what Cory was saying too about you yourself, Mark, putting people in this sort of drive mind state to just go full speed ahead, and hearing you and just hearing Cory a moment ago, it's like, wow, the opportunity is endless. So I'm definitely gonna start just getting in my headspace and just doing what I can with the skill set that I have.
Right. And that's all anybody can do. You have to start where you're at, and then you build on your skill sets as you go. You even build on your delivery as you go. You build on your, courage as you go. You build on your comfort level in doing it as you go. All of those things. I didn't have all the knowledge, skill sets, and, comfort level and courage that when I first started. You go back and listen to some of the first episodes. I don't think I did a bad job, but, I was a little bit less sure of myself. I didn't have all the experience under my belt that I do now, but I forged forward. It's about keep moving forward. Don't back up. Keep moving the work forward. Don't let them have the world. Too many people are just today saying, I give up, let them have the world. There can't be any worse of an approach than that. Fight till the end, even if it's going to be our end, but don't give up. That's why I end the show every week with never say die. Sometimes I feel like giving up, but I don't actually do it. I get discouraged. I get annoyed. I get aggravated. I hear, some of, people who I consider total idiots spouting nonsense out of their mouth that they don't know about. And it makes me angry or discourages me. And it isn't to say just totally ignore those people. You got to put your finger on the pulse of consciousness in the world. And you got to say, hey, if practically everybody I hear is out there on social media saying nonsense, this is where the world is at. It's a gauging process. You don't just ignore that. Too many people say, oh, never look at that. Just ignore it. No, you have to understand what your work is to do so you can do it. And it means revisiting that and saying, hey, let me take a look at a forum from time to time and see if anything changed. Are there more people in there saying we need not only abolish the police, but government is immoral, it's slavery, and we need to abolish it? Then you go on forums and you see, hey, has anybody gotten it? Is anybody teaching it? Is anybody, have a deep understanding of it? And you know what I see when I keep going and revisiting? Nothing has changed. It's tiny little sliver has been moved forward in real understanding. Oh, we got a lot more people that understand, hey, we're living in a violent world. Oh, there's a problem. Oh, a lot of people don't have food, clothing, shelter. Oh, these wars are wars of aggression. Oh, the police are out of control. What's the difference if you understand the problem? If you don't understand the causal factors and you can get to the solution, which is natural law. If you don't understand that objective morality of nature, of the creator, you understand zero aspect of what is going on this planet. Zero. So you can look at all of the negative things that are happening, and that's just further, more detailed descriptions of the prison. Oh, wait, this room is my prison? Oh, well, let's explore. We could explore the lens in these glasses. We could explore the rim of this glass and go down with a microscope and explore every detail of the prison. Is that getting me out? Will that get us out? No. All that will do is refine what you understand about the problem. It doesn't mean you understand the solution, which lies in understanding the causal factors of the problem. And when you tell people the causal factors of the problem rely nowhere in the 3D domain, they rely in the causal realm of thought, and that you must change what you believe about what is true, and stop believing in things that are not true, and stop refusing to accept things that are true, and those are discoverable. See, that's why the first thing I started with on What on Earth is Happening is the biggest poison pill that you could ever swallow is solipsism. We can go back to episode number 1 where I was talking about how dangerous the ideology or religion called solipsism is. The belief that there is only opinion and perception and there is no objective truth or facts. I mean, if you believe that, you never go in search of what the truth is about what's happening within yourself or external to yourself. And you're sunk from the beginning. It's a total sabotage from the very beginning, solipsism. That's why I called it the biggest lie. But guess what? This is where most people are at today. They've been conditioned by the social engineers to say, my emotions matter more than facts. And if this hurts my feelings, then I don't accept it as being true. You reason like that, that's solipsism. That's not reason at all. That's a religion. It's a belief system that we have to purge from the human mind. And you tell people that, and they want to do harm to you. You're telling them the solution can never lie in something like solipsism or the belief in authority, and that the mind has to be changed before the external world could change in any way. And they'll get angry at you for telling them they have to change the way they think when their thinking is the actual cause of the problem that we are experiencing, and they don't yet understand that. You know, that's what we have to start teaching people as a group of people who claims that we understand this information. And again, in order to do that and to get it out there, if you're going to bang your head against the wall forever if you think you're going to do that one-to-one as an individual. Again, I've given the example. I did that with my mother, okay? As she's never going to watch anything unless I force her to, okay? I got her up to the point where she says, you're correct. It's a worldwide control system. They want control. They're control freaks. And I don't question that anymore because I've seen it enough with my own eyes. Right? She gets to that point. You went into all the details about food, drugs, different secret societies, different think tanks, how the world is ultimately controlled. She wouldn't know any of those details. If I said, explain to me the philosophy of solipsism or the ideology of solipsism, wouldn't be able to do it. Tell me some of the tenets of Satanism because these are really the rulers of the world and we have to know their mindset. Otherwise, we can't really know the enemy and make any progress against them. She wouldn't be able to do that, right? So the details aren't there. But in like 15 years, let's say, of constant hammering on one human soul and mind, boom, boom, hammering on it relentlessly, nonstop, for 15 years, I got one human being through my voice in person, in-person conversation. I moved one human being that far, right? Which is nothing. Nothing. I only did it because she's my mother and I care about her soul. That's why I spent the time doing that. I wouldn't do that for a stranger. That's why I do this. I put the work out there publicly. When someone finds it, they could pass it on to someone else. They could watch it or not watch it. And you will understand if you take it all in. If you don't take it all in, you're going to have a halfway understanding at best or no understanding. And guess what? I have fulfilled my duty and obligation morally to put the word out there to the world this way through technology. That's why all the Luddites out there, meaning people who are afraid of technology and don't want to use it, right? You don't understand. It's a neutral tool. A neutral tool. Is a book good or evil? Well, a book is a piece of technology. What's in the book can be good or evil, depending on how it influences other people's minds and behaviors. Technology is a tool. When a computer comes to you, it doesn't have any other information in it. You could put what you want in it and you could distribute that information. That's what communications and publishing technology are. The problem is we don't understand the importance of the tools that we have in our hand. We have guided nuclear bombs in our hand that we could use in this war. And you know what we're doing? We're playing, garbage video games. Right? It's like McAfee, I forget his full name, said at the Anarchadelphia conference. He said in his video, he said, cryptocurrency is invincibility and a battle rifle that never runs out of ammunition. That you can never die and you have a perfect battle rifle that never runs out of ammo. That's what really cryptocurrency is if you want to truly use it to take down the control system as far as the financial aspects of it are concerned. And he said, you know how all of you guys are using it? Like a little toy, like a little child's toy. And I agree. And it's the same thing when it comes to technology, any technology. We have the potential to become powerful teachers of natural law and what's really taking place in our world. And you know what most people are doing? They're on Facebook playing some stupid game, or on their phone playing their slab. I'm not even going to call it a phone anymore. It's the slab. That's the new name for the smartphone. Do you have your slab handy? Because that's all it is. It's not a creative tool. It was part of one of the first things I talked about in how to become the true media. If you think you're going to put out any publishing, true good publishing to the world on a tablet or smartphone, you don't understand the work that's involved. Those aren't real computers. Those are slabs. Okay? And that's how I view them. So I just wanted to say that regarding technology. And if you're thinking about moving forward into this work, I commend you for getting that far and understanding that it's about taking action. So if you have anything else, Gavin.
Yes, first of all, just amazing insight that you just brought there. One last thing I would just like to say. So most of my family are solipsistic order followers or supporters of order
Wow,
followers.
I'm
like
sorry.
Hardcore, deeply rooted solipsism, and always bringing into conversations perception is reality. You know,
Wow.
well, but those aren't my facts. Those aren't
Wow.
my truth.
Wow.
So
Yeah,
that's kind of the wall I'm up against.
they're pretty
in my
much gone. I mean, that would take a lot of hard work upon the psyche and soul to remove that. I would assume many of them are atheists.
I mean, de facto atheists. They're so-called Catholics or Christians, but
Right.
obviously,
But they've
indeed,
bought the idea that there is no objective truth in
for what it
nature,
seems,
in the universe. That is something that most of the mystery traditions of consciousness throughout all of human history and time would have referred to as the unteachable. They would have not wasted their words on them. The only thing I would say is if you can pinpoint a maven, a person with influence with the rest of them, you might want to try to work on the maven in that group setting, because then they might be influencers for the rest of them and help to decalcify their ego, because a lot of times people will only listen to the maven, and I'm almost certain you're not it when it comes to your family members.
Yeah.
I would bet anything. And if you can identify that there is a clear maven of the family, you might want to do what I call maven target, and target the maven, work on them. That's why I chose my mother. Not only was she my mother, she was the maven or matriarch of my family. Okay? Both, the matriarch and maven. Since my grandmother died, who people would consider the existing woman influencer, female influencer of the family, when she passed away, that role sort of organically fell to my own mother in my family dynamic. That is why I focused so hard on her. I already understood how this psychological dynamic worked when it comes to helping wake other people up. And I've really focused on her as an individual. And now we're seeing the very, very, very beginnings of the planting of those seeds, of its spouting some growth and possibly influencing some other people in the family. We'll see how it goes. But guess what? If I didn't do that hardcore work in the beginning of planting all those seeds and forcing her to watch certain things, it wouldn't have been in her mind when all of this stuff with the coronavirus nonsense went on. And then she wouldn't be waking up during this process. She'd be one of these hard-headed people that is doubling and tripling down. So that's how it works. You have to pick somebody, go to work on them locally, and hope that it bears fruit in the future.
Definitely, Mark. Thank you for that.
Yep.
Well, I appreciate the information. I'll definitely try and focus on the maven targeting and hopefully, get involved in the great work. So I appreciate your time having me on here.
Gavin,
take some more calls. Thank you, Mark.
Absolutely. Gavin, thank you so much. Great call, great insights. I appreciate it.